guy alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon By. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Frank from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
Hello again, friends. This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club. I'm your host, John, and with me, as always, is Nate Morales. Nate, we are back at it with content that warrants weekly shows. Are you excited to the level that I am? Yeah. The season of sorts has officially started.
Yeah, man.
Training starts tomorrow night.
It feels like there's way more to talk about, and it's way easier to get a show rundown going and to fill out a show than it was, at the end of last year, where we're like, I don't know, how many year-end lists can we do?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then we did that, the really cool series of meeting owners of other clubs, and then we ran into
it was what now?
Well, then we ran into Sonny from Tulsa, didn't know how the fuck to use a computer, so we didn't record until 12 o'clock at night. And, yeah. So, but you're right. Now it seems as though we have content on content on content. So this kind of week makes the NPSL season feel so far away, yet so close.
Yeah, man.
But we've got plenty of league and team tidbits to talk about to keep your soccer appetites wet.
Yes.
We have listener email, one that we actually remembered to address, and address we will. We'll also talk about some injustice that struck the MLS, and I know it's hard to believe, but we'll talk about that. We have another signing to the 2019 murder that was announced this week, and we welcome a second Nate to the show. The new head of the official, unofficial Minneapolis City Soccer Club supporters group, the Citizens, is in house, and I know I'm excited to meet him and hear what he has to say, so I'm sure you are as well. But Nate, shall we dive in here?
Yes, we shall, my good man.
All right. So first off, mailbag. Listener Ryan Nilsson, a new member of our mailbag, emailed the show this week all the way from Indiana and had some really nice thoughts and a few questions that we'd like to address. We would be negligent of our duties if we did not answer them in a timely fashion.
That's right.
So he wrote, and I quote, "My dream opponent from Minneapolis City is a San Francisco Glens. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Conrad. How can you not be? And he's now the club's technical director. That made me wonder, is there anything preventing the NPSL and USL League Two teams from playing each other? The Des Moines Menace and the new team in Green Bay, based purely on proximity, seem like that would be a decent non-conference opponent. And I would think a couple games against League Two teams could only help how college coaches view City." So, Ryan, loaded question there. Thank you. Or loaded question part A, I should say. So, short answer is there's nothing stopping us from playing each other from a rules perspective versus the old PDL level of teams. But part of the issue, Ryan, is that trying to fit games in during a packed summer of league soccer, not just ours, but theirs, knowing that they are mostly predicated on using under 23 to 25-year-old talent that's just out of school or in school. Their guys get in later than ours do, with having guys that have day jobs that live in the city. So yeah, it's awesome. We kick the tires on it. In the past, we've made trips to play Des Moines Menace down in Des Moines, and it was always a great trip and a good time down there. They treated us really great. But last year and this year, we were not able to align those conversations. with them, but they have been had, and we tried to connect up with the Menace. With Green Bay, we're actually I don't know if I'm really allowed to talk about it, but we're actively in talks with them to play a home and home this summer, and it's going to happen. I believe we're right about there with locking in dates, but it looks like the matchup will be with our U23 team, and some may think that's a step down for a USL2 team to play an NPSL team's U23 side, but the firepower we have bringing into that squad that we'll talk about at a later date on this show, it should be a great matchup, and obviously not one you would like to see. You'd probably like to see the full NPSL Crow side play them, but if we can't make it work with our schedule, we will be playing the Green Bay team with some form of Crow this summer.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, but the higher up you get in the pyramid, the less likely that those teams are going to want to be playing down, teams like this. I think U.S. Soccer tries really, really hard to maintain this appearance that there is a jump in quality as you go from NPSL up to the old NASL, USL level, and you see that in the way that the U.S. Open Cup is structured, like.
Don't get me started.
They've mitigated the risk of any more Christos-style upsets in the future by basically shaving half of the amateur teams out of the tournament.
You're trolling me now, man. You want me
and I think the last thing the USL or any of those teams would want is for a team like us, Duluth, Ann Arbor, whoever, to start to rack up a serious resume of defeated USL teams because it makes their quality look not so attractive. And they don't want their USL teams to be looked at as beatable by, like you mentioned, a bunch of dudes with day jobs that just practice a couple nights a week.
The highest scoring dudes in the day jobs in the country last year.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's not all that our listener Ryan asked. He also said, in lieu of the U.S. Open Cup, which again, you motherfucking trolls, has Minneapolis City considered organizing and or hosting a tournament for top amateur teams in the upper Midwest?
How great would that be? That would be super sweet. The Mega Murder Invitational, right? This would be, although, I mean, I think it would be incredibly sweet, although probably a super intense undertaking involving more volunteers and resources than we have on hand. But it's something to definitely look at in the future. John, who are your dream participants in this fictional city-hosted amateur tournament?
I will get to that, but I will say, though, that we have looked into something like this for a few years now. And this season, we kind of tried to kick the tires on it a little bit harder, again, for our preseason. But it looks like we are only going to get one team to come in to play us, and that is the Harpos out of Colorado. So they'll be coming in April to play against us in what'll be a great friendly, and then an equally great time at the bar afterwards. But in the future, I would love to make something like this happen. I think it's what fans of this level of soccer in the United States desires and would really turn out for. And I think you could get a lot of people that would come travel and make it a destination
totally
to come in. But to get to your answer to your question, Nate, I do have 8 teams with an honorable mention of 9, just so I'm being a good show partner here. Obviously the Milwaukee Bavarians would play them every day if I could. I think FC Baltimore / Christos would be great to have. Harpos that I mentioned. La Machina out of Los Angeles, which was the team that a few years ago Eric Winalda took in to face against and take down quite a few MLS teams in the Open Cup. Providence is one that I think everybody would like to see us link up with. And then a couple Midwestern teams. I think Duluth would be good to throw in that. It would be great to see if we might be able to do a 4-team 2-tiered bracket and see if Duluth and us can make it out of our brackets and play in a final. Detroit would be great to play, just on their fan presence alone, and knowing how similar some of our faction is to theirs. And then finally Ann Arbor, I think after meeting the guys from Ann Arbor over the annual owners meeting, great guys. They're good at soccer and they just do things the right way. And then my honorable mention team is our our favorite team in purple, Oakland County. I wouldn't mind having those guys make the trip back up here to play against us.
I think that's a good list. I'd make a similar list. I didn't know about the La Machina Club. I think that sounds pretty sweet. That sounds cool as hell. But yeah, all those teams would be on my list.
No other surprises that you would throw in there?
No, I mean, I think that's good. It'd be cool to get Sonny's team up here, play some Tulsa, play against Tulsa, play against maybe Little Rock and stuff, and just make it kind of a cool dudes club. But yeah, I think that's a good list.
I only had 8 spots for a proper tournament, so I apologize to Sonny and to Jonathan for not adding them in here. I think we're going to end up playing them at some point anyways, so This is more of the dream list. But you take any of these teams out, and you could slap those guys in. As you know, we've been very vivid in our dismay on how U.S. soccer is run at the professional ranks, and once again, the folks that hold the most power in this country, the ones who scream from the highest mountains, Nate, about how our pipeline to pro needs to be fixed so that we are more competitive at an international level, have done it again. What I'm talking about is the recent news on the mess that was the potential transfer of former Indiana University and top drawer soccer.com's 2018 Collegiate Player of the Year, Andrew Gutman, to Nashville. So news was reported last week that Gutman, who had chosen to spurn the MLS by not signing a homegrown contract with the Chicago Fire and instead accepted a trial in Scotland with storied club Celtic. I mean, can you blame him?
No, man.
Right, you can't really blame him. But because Gutman had played with the Fire's now USL 2 side FC United last summer, they just thought that they could, he would bend a knee at the throne of MLS and accept a serious lowball offer. It was basically the league minimum to stay stateside.
Yeah,
so this is where we start, Nate.
I feel like they ask these kids a lot to make sacrifices like this, career sacrifices right out of the gate, just for the good of the MLS. Just like, don't you want your hometown team to succeed? When no, player, I'm going to Scotland.
Right, and it's not like he's going to the 3rd division in Scotland. He's going to the best team in Scotland.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Rangers fan, then it's the 2nd best team in Scotland. It's not a piece of shit club. But also, if you think about it from his perspective, he's looking at being signed to a homegrown contract that locks him into a club that has no, at the time, had no USL affiliate before they did the whole USL 2 thing. Mm-hmm. And then they finished no higher than 4th from last in the past 7 years. So it's like, if I'm not going to get playing time on that team, where am I going to get loaned to? I can't. I'm stuck. I'm with this team, and outside of when they made the announcement to have the USL 2 side, but still, again, that's USL 2. It's not even the top division of USL. So why would he want to go there when he can go to Scotland? So anyways, that's where we'll start this whole thing. But let's talk a little bit about the player first before we get into the details of really what happened. So Gutman deployed for Indiana as an outside left back, and he possesses the skill sets that I think our senior national team has been looking for since I began watching soccer. A tougher than nails defender with an engine that can get up and back, and he scores goals. Nate, he scored 20 goals in 90 career appearances at Indiana, playing against some really good competition as a left defender.
What?
Those are like striker level goals for a college, right?
Holy crap.
Right. So this is nothing to shake a stick at. This guy is good at soccer. And I watched a lot of IU games over the past few years because we've had some Crows that have flown alongside him on those teams. And I can tell you that he was physically and mentally one of the best soccer players at the left back position that's a citizen of the United States that I've seen maybe ever at that level.
Wow.
So if you're reading between the lines here, folks, we have a talent that could be fostered into what our country is missing in, say, 2 to 5 years, that can make a push to not only make the national team, but maybe play in a World Cup. So why would you as a collective soccer community stunt that growth by being petty when it comes to his decision not to play domestically for a living? I mean, if you were looking for a job, Nate, and this job that you found was in Europe and it would really help you excel and succeed in your career path, should your local McDonald's franchise in your hometown be able to like block that move from you?
No matter how good of a burger flipper you are.
Right, exactly. Like, you see, you're in finance. They're like, nope, you have to run the cash register at McDonald's because you're from this town. So that's where we're at with the player. So, I mean, okay. So with all this stuff said, this is what happened next. So Gutman ended up signing with Celtic, and then they realized that he needed some time to grow. Like, I don't know, every soccer club outside the States should be doing. So they decided to loan him to a USL side in Nashville Soccer Club, which we now know is joining the MLS in 2020. Here's where the problem is. MLS effectively then blocked that move, and then the loan deal was dead. Thus, one bigger online and one blogger online wrote, "It seems like the league is sending a message to players in its academies that if you do what's best for your career and don't sign with a team in MLS, then it's not interested in furthering their career or the player's career, and in fact will work to hinder that." This is exactly what happened and makes my soccer pure heart explode, Nate. Like, why does it have to be like this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's crazy to me that Celtic has a relationship with like USL teams anyway in the United States. Like, there could be any team in Europe that would probably be willing to take a Celtic prospect on loan.
Right.
So, I mean, I understand maybe they're trying to do a favor and send him home to America rather than throwing him in Belgium or something. But it sucks that like that just cuts out a whole bunch of options for him as a place to develop. I'm sure if they're serious about his development, they'll find him somewhere else to go on loan. But it looks bad for the MLS. It looks petty. You're right.
I mean, I'll leave it as this. This is fucking stupid. That's the only way you can describe it. It is stupid. Gutman, good for you, man, for doing what's right for you. And everyone else, remember this shitstorm the next time a player that has a chance to play for another country internationally chooses to do so. Like, this is the reason why the Jonathan Gonzalez's of the world choose to play for Mexico, or other players choose to play for other countries if they can, because we do this to our players. I can't talk about it anymore without getting into just a dark space. So,
well, I mean, he's a good dude to keep an eye on. I think hopefully he does land somewhere where he's able to develop. But interested to see if he does develop to the level that you're predicting, John.
Right. So enough about players that we can't help. And on to those that we choose to work with to help better their soccer life. This week, it was announced that another member of the 2018 North Conference Championship team will be back with us, and that is Miles Norville. Goes by the nickname Upgrade. Miles has played 11 games with us, tallying 887 minutes and a lone assist.
At first when we met him and traveled to Aurora with him, and everyone was calling him Upgrade, I thought it was super dick to be like, Miles Stockman Willis is like sitting right here. Like, don't call the new Miles the Upgrade, but that's just his nickname.
Yeah.
But he was part of last year's Stingy Crows defense. I think Miles offers a ton out of the back line. He's definitely a calm center back, but he doesn't shy away from tackles. He's got a ton of size. He's got the willingness to win balls in the air, which is something we're going to need with another one of our key center backs studying abroad for half the summer. And he's able to track and really nick the ball off of attackers in 1v1 battles. I'll tell you this, though. I've said it in the past that Miles gives me a ton of anxiety because he's so nonchalant on the ball.
He's on island time, man.
I feel like if he were to get pressed, it'd be all over, right? But when he is pressed, it's like, whoop, he just makes a little move, and he passes it off to safety, or he knocks a 30-yard dime down the line to a streaking winger, and it was like, then he's just back to island time. So
Yeah.
he moves when he has to, and he does it really well.
Back to sipping a fruity blended cocktail on the beach.
That's right.
But I agree, Nate. When Miles joined us in our last Open Cup run, in the first 10 minutes of training for the first time he played with us, I had to like raise my hands up to the sky and thank the soccer gods for gifting me a player of his qualities. Overall, just like you noted, a solid soccer player who also fits really well into our locker room. And more times than not does exactly what he needs to do. So I am super excited to have him back.
Great announcement, and many more announcements to
They're
come
coming.
in the next few weeks.
They are coming in hot.
We are pleased tonight to welcome a new guest to the show. He also goes by the name of Nate. It is Nate Zell. Nate is the new duly elected leader of the Citizen Supporters Group, taking over for founder David Baker. Nate, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
This is very excellent. First things first, tell us a little bit about yourself. I think you told me you were born and raised in Portland, Oregon. Have you been a soccer fan for a long time?
Yeah, so grew up in Portland. Soccer was one of the first sports I played growing up indoors, like a kindergartner, and then I've played most of my life. Lived in Seattle for a while. Went to Seattle University, which is a huge soccer school. They won a national championship when I was there, and so got to kind of play a role on the outside as a journalist with them, and so I've just kind of always been in soccer cultures, and then was lucky enough to live in Portland when the Timbers came into MLS. Had some good years in USL there, and then teaching took me down to Arizona and California, started coaching, and then now have found myself out in the Midwest and get to enjoy the winters here and the summers that much better for soccer and
Yeah.
the citizens and all that. So, yeah.
So you mentioned your teacher. Is that what brought you to Minneapolis?
Somewhat. I've taught for 8 years now and teach up now in Shoreview, but I was living kind of in the boonies in California in a farming area, and was looking for something more metropolitan, and the cost of living, as we all know on the West Coast, is pretty crazy. So looking for a little bit of change of pace, and
Yeah.
my dad and stepmom had moved out here a year before me, so it was like, hey, I'll give that a try. And it actually reminds me a lot of the Northwest. I like to say I get lost driving. I'm like, yeah, I'm not driving to my aunt's house because she's in, a suburb of Portland, but it looks like I am. So yeah.
That part of what makes a move like this easier, though, is like if it feels more familiar, if the landscape and the neighborhoods and the architecture feels more familiar, it feels better.
For sure, yeah. I mean, all the greenery, trees overhanging the streets feels very much like the Northwest. Leaf changing color in the fall, all that kind of stuff does not happen in Arizona and California, I'll tell you.
Word.
So before I dive into a couple of my questions here, so when you were at Seattle, were they were the Red Hawks, right? Correct.
They were and still are. Yeah, they switched from the Chieftains in like the 80s.
So I didn't want to date you there, but I just wanted to make sure. But I actually know a few guys I used to play soccer with in Milwaukee that were Red Hawk alumni. So I have a soft spot in my heart for people who went to Seattle University because those were really good dudes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So most importantly, from all the things that you've said about what brought you to Minneapolis, what brought you into the fold to become a fan and a supporter of Minneapolis City?
So and I don't remember who first told me about City. I was actually watching a Timbers game, and it was a guy there. We were watching a Timbers and Seattle match, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to go watch this team, Minneapolis City. And I was like, oh, who are they? And he was like, oh, it's this, lower level, like semi-pro team, blah, blah, blah. They play out at, I think it was an away match because they were playing out in like St. Louis Park or something. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then kind of circled back, and not last summer, but so like a year ago in December, kind of got into the fold, decided to get season tickets. And really for me, it's about wanting to support grassroots soccer. I may offend some Loons fans out there with some of my comments.
We do it all the time, so don't worry about
I'll
it.
toss that out. I'll toss that out, and my deepest apologies. But I'm not gonna go Minnesota nice. But I think that like MLS is nice and it's a decent product. And to be completely honest, if my hometown team wasn't the Timbers and I didn't follow them, I probably wouldn't follow MLS much at all, because for me the quality just isn't there consistently. But what I am willing to support is local grassroots soccer. I'm definitely in the promotion relegation boat. I hope that happens sometime, and that we can make that work, because I think that it just adds excitement, but B adds growth and drive, and that unique balance of development and competitiveness that I think will help U.S. soccer to grow. So I'm definitely a proponent of that. And so if I can get involved in some way and help that process, then I want to do that. And I think that the both the citizens and city are opportunities for that.
So first, before I get to my next question here, thank you so much for getting involved. I think that we built this thing at first for players to play at a high level, but we know that we had a niche for fans like yourself. So it's very encouraging for me from a founder's perspective to hear that that's how you got started, is you wanted to get connected with local, because as you know, our whole mission is players from Minnesota. So it's really good to hear that's also what drew you in. But what were your first impressions when you went to your first match, and when what hooked you once you got there to dive deeper into becoming a supporter of the club?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the just the proximity. I mean, it's quality soccer, number one. I think that it's fun and it's quality, and the guys are working their tails off. But then the proximity to all of that, and I am imagining, I haven't been to a match at Augsburg yet, but I'm imagining that it's not going to be that much different from, the way things were at Osseo. But it's college plus guys playing in a high school stadium, right? So you're right there.
Yep.
And so that's super fun, and you can hear the chat and the banter, and so it's regular season intensity. I liken it to, went down when I was living in Arizona, went down to Tucson and watched some of the MLS preseason stuff, and that blew me away, because you can't hear the guys talk in a stadium because it's too loud, but there you could hear everybody talking, and so you get to kind of see that side of the game. But here's regular season intensity, and you can hear that throughout the match. See right there, and then the energy is just there. The citizens clearly are a budding group, a budding supporter group, and I think can continue to be a force to be reckoned with in terms of creating that atmosphere, and so that that makes it fun as well, is that you've got this fun, engaging fan atmosphere to go along with a second to none. I mean, you've got to go over to Europe and watch second division or third division stuff to be able to see something similar, just because stadiums are, let's get fans closer, but it also means everything's louder, so you don't get that. It's not that same experience.
Yeah.
Well, get ready, man. You're gonna love Augsburg.
I was gonna say,
you are right on the field. Like
Nice.
there's no track. It's the field ends 3 feet away from the wall that you'll be sitting at. So you're gonna if you like the experience at Osseo, it's gonna blow your mind.
You're gonna love Augsburg. Yeah, man.
At Augsburg.
So I can imagine that a lot of people, probably myself included, could feel trepidation about just kind of walking up to a supporters section full of strangers and joining in. I definitely do feel that trepidation. It's probably why I'm more comfortable in the booth. Can you talk a little bit about your experience getting involved with the Citizens as a person that wasn't only new to Minneapolis City soccer, but Minneapolis overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's what I love about soccer is community, and it was actually the first match last year. There's this guy from, um, oh, I can't remember. It was Crowsboro in Europe, something like that. And he had come out, and he was wanted to plan a trip to the States, and he had like Googled up what are American sports teams with the mascot of the Crows.
and we didn't even have to pay for that search. That was number one.
That's free
Right.
SEO.
Yeah, right.
So and great guy, and so he's at the match and whatever, and so it's like instant community, and I think that's like that is something in soccer. Like I've been all over the place, and I'm kind of, it's funny because I am a teacher, and so that forces me to be kind of more extroverted, but kind of in my life I'm maybe a little bit quieter. But one of the things that I love about being in a supporter group is that you just get to put yourself out there, but then you're also in this community, and so you're not by yourself, you're not alone. I think Liverpool has some sort of thing about that, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, that's for a different podcast.
That's for a different podcast. But yeah, so I just think that knowing that and feeling that about a soccer community, and then coming here and wanting to being new to the area, but wanting to look for that community, and just feeling like, all right, if I'm at soccer, I feel at home, and then having that experience, being out at riding the murder bus the first match last year, and getting to experience that, and kind of going through the full meal deal the first time was super fun, and just super exciting. And it's like, yeah, this is where it's at. And then when David approached me about, he didn't approach me, but when I saw that they were looking for people to step up, I was like, yeah, that'd be something I'd be interested in doing. So
Yeah, that was actually where my next question was going. Like, so when did the notion that David was thinking about stepping aside start, and what got you into saying like, yep, this is for me. I'm all in. I'm doing this.
And I think so it just sort of came out of nowhere. I mean, I saw he had posted on Twitter that they were looking for kind of a director position, and so he and I exchanged some DMs, and we got together and had a coffee and chatted, and I was sort of on the fence about if I wanted to do it, and it's like, well, they're not going to be my they're not my first choice team, but I don't and what I came to realize was like for a lot of people they're not, which is fine. So how do I, I'm in a perfect place to market to soccer fans whose first choice isn't going to be, the local grassroots team, but they want to support local soccer. How can I tap into the way that I'm feeling about that to get other people excited about it? And so I felt like, what originally was like trepidation easily became, here's this opportunity for using my experience to bring other people in.
That's a really interesting POV.
Yeah.
To say that where you're bringing the perspective of someone who is kind of is on the outside looking in. I think a lot of the diehards in the Citizens, people that have been there from the start, have been there from the start because they were super excited for Minneapolis City. They were looking for an alternative to MLS. There was nothing really like that here in town after after the Minnesota United went pro, and we filled that hole for them, and that we were it. So it's really cool to hear that your philosophy on this is like, let's grow the group by people that are like, part-time soccer fans, or maybe we'll only go to, half the games.
Right.
Well, if you
And I
think
think
about
that-
it too,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, if you think about it too, like 2/3 of our club founders, Dan his first choice team is not Minneapolis City. It's Brighton because he played for them. Mine's Kaiserslautern because I played there. It's so your thought process of this isn't my first choice team because I'm not from here, but it's local in my community and it's our thing. It starts from the top down. I think you couldn't have hit the nail on the head even more.
Well, and I think that I actually would argue that it's bottom up because it's all community based and it's grassroots. Like and I think that that's where, like, being still somewhat new, but being in this, leadership position, like my goal is to actually encourage and inspire more people to get involved and be a part of the leadership, because I recognize that people have had a connection for longer than I have, and maybe a deeper connection in certain ways, but how can I facilitate and just bring new ideas and help to kind of spur things forward? So definitely, like, for me, it's like, how can I bring skills that I think I have to the table, and help improve the experience. And the more people involved, the bigger the party, the better, right?
Yeah.
And that, I love the fact that, the Timbers Army is, if you want to be with us, then you're with us, right? If you want to be with one of us, then you are, right? And the citizens are, if you want to stand with us, then you stand with us. You don't need a scarf. Mm-hmm. You don't need to pay a fee. Like, there's no hoops to jump through. It's like, yeah, you're one of us. Now, at the same time, do I want to figure out ways to harness?
Yeah. Also, pay the fee, please.
The financial. Yes. Please come stand with us, and please, support memberships so that we can do cool stuff. But have smoke at games and have cool banners and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if we can have a group of passionate people that are out there supporting the team, that's what it's about. And I feel confident that as soon as people find value in it, then they're going to be willing to support it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because, that's where it is. And people aren't going to be willing to be like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm going to give money to you when I don't know you yet. Like, they have to see the value, and then it'll be there. So right now it's what are the different ways that we can create value, and how can we expand on ways that have been done in the past? And again, I'm coming into a position where I feel like, I've got some ideas, but I also want to rely on people that have been there to say, hey, we really like this. We got to keep doing it, or we've got to make this better. And we'll absolutely do that.
So it's been said that an active supporters group really makes the club. You look at the Northern Guard over in Detroit, and like that team would, if there are any Detroit friends listening, throw your earmuffs on. But that team would be like a middling NPSL squad playing in an abandoned mud pit if it weren't for the Northern Guard, right? They create the atmosphere. They create the intimidation factor. They pretty much built the stadium by hand. What other supporters groups do you see doing it right at our level?
That's a tricky question, because other than Citizens, haven't followed a lot at the NPSL level. A buddy of mine was part of San Francisco City FC, and I think they're similar, although I can't remember if they're actually part of NPSL or not.
They used to be. I think they went USL.
Are they that high now?
I think it kind of morphed into
they're...
what Jimmy Conrad is
okay.
heading up in the Gales. So
yeah.
Yes, they're still around, but I don't think they're in the NPSL anymore.
I think that a group like that, they were they grew pretty significantly, and that club had some challenges in terms of where could they play games. San Francisco is a tough market to find field space anywhere. So again, I think that they just by the fact of showing up, did it well, and that's certainly an area of growth for me. Like, looking at what are other clubs our size, what are those supporter groups doing, how are they growing themselves, like, what kind of outreach are they doing, because certainly you can't compare the apples and oranges of Dark Clouds or Timbers Army or Cauldron, because the resources at their disposal are far and above like where we're going to be at.
Yeah.
So you've got to compare. You got to compare like to like. So.
No, that's good comparison. So your challenge then with the citizens is take something that that David and everyone kind of started and make it bigger, take it to the next level, right?
Yeah.
You touched on it a little bit a second ago, but really, what is your platform for evolving the citizens over the next year or two?
I think so. Looking at, and I've talked with Brian and Dan Warner, and David as well has continued to make himself available. And the things that I've talked with them about is how can we make ourselves a presence on game day such that fans in the stadium want to come be a part of what we've got going on. So
Right.
how can we draw from the pool of existing members that aren't coming to stand down with the citizens and get them to say, hey, we want to walk this little further distance to come hang out with these guys because that's where the party's at. By the same token, how can we reach out to either fans of European teams that don't care about MLS but would support local soccer? How can we help to grow the fan base? I think anything that we can do in that regard to get more people at games is going to benefit us. And then look at hopefully we can. What I'd like to be able to do is to get enough seed money to where we could be able to sell merch at games, pass out scarves, do some sort of initiatives. I think that it's great to have the membership and to have some perks with that are really going to get people excited, beyond just a scarf, because it's a diehard is going to say, yeah, absolutely, I'll give you $35 and I get a scarf out of it. But they're going to give $35 anyway.
Yeah.
But how do you get somebody who's not willing to give up their $35 that easily to buy into, hey, I want to support this thing and I'm getting more than a scarf, right?
Yeah.
So what are the perks? So I
Or
think
who's already a member of the team and like, I get my scarf.
Right, exactly. Like, why do I need another one?
Mm-hmm.
So I think and the exposure. I mean, I wear my MPLS Pride shirt in Portland and people comment on it, and I wear it here and people comment on it, and so how can we transfer that into citizen stuff, right? So how do we get gear out there so that we've got our brand out there? How can we use social media in an effective way to kind of grow ourselves, or at least reach out to people? So I think those are kind of the three things where I think our focus will be this year, and then also model citizens, and I think that's kind of yet to be determined how that role is going to be filled, but hopefully we can continue, because I think that getting out in the community as much as possible and doing stuff is the way to build your name.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about songs. And, I've been asking for some time now, and this could be like the perfect way for me to get what I want. But seeing that we've have a good core of returning fan favorite players, I don't know if you listened to the last week's podcast. We have about 17, 18 returners coming back, and some of those guys have been there from the beginning. What does a guy have to do to get more player-specific songs ringing through the stands? I mean, the fact that there's not a Will Kids on Fire based off of the Will Griggs on Fire chant kind of drives me up the wall a little bit, or like a boom, 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 let me hear you say Ayo after he crushes an attacker. So who's working on that stuff now, and who do I go to give my unsolicited input?
One of the things that that David and I were talking about is, what are roles that we need filled. So would you like me to are you offering to to fill a role of songwriter for us?
I mean, I how about this? Much like everything that I am asked to do within the club, I will offer up my input, and then I will quickly pass it on to whoever wants to continue doing all the legwork. if that's
good.
possible.
That's
Well,
classic John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently
but
my
I mean-
apparently my job is to get people who are willing to like do the basic stuff and then do the legwork to help them. So I guess that means that you're writing lyrics and I'm running with them and printing them for people to
I
start
mean,
chanting.
part of the great thing about supporters groups is that the club and the front office and the back room doesn't tell you what to do. So I don't know if I can, in good conscience, be part of
This
part of
is a
that.
cop out.
But I'm happy to provide my input for sure. But I'm sure now that you being in charge, you see where I'm coming from here, that maybe you can just take my little seed here and run with it a little bit without having my full involvement.
Well, certainly the fact that you've given me so much of time on your podcast, I need to at least appease you with 1 or 2 player chants. So, give me a rank order list, and I'll see what I can do.
I think, Nate, in general, I think before the season begins, we'll have to have sort of a game day experience meeting, a couple of those, just to say,
For sure.
you guys are in charge of a huge aspect of the environment on game day, and, the club is as well, and that means John doing the play-by-play with Nordo, that means me up in the booth doing the player announcements and doing the sound effects and things like that, and it means, Sarah doing the merch. So I think when we all get together and decide, what the angles of attack are and what we need, that'll be, we can really fill out a real robust game day experience, including, John, player-based chants.
I mean, I gave 2 really good ones just right here. I feel like I did my job.
Yep,
right?
we got the Matt Elder one already. We just got to
Matt
keep
Elder.
going. We got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm sure you're going to do fantastic things, but if I can just get 1 player chant, I'd be happy.
I'm a fan of the player chants, so we'll be working on that.
All right. See, it was the perfect platform. All right, I'm good. I'm good. Today was a good day.
We
All you
know.
need to do is give me airtime.
yeah, exactly. That's free. That's all. Airtime's free.
I love it.
That's right. We know that. We know John's wish list. Nate, what is at the top of your wish list for a game day experience edition?
Oh man, that's tough. The top of my wish list. I think. This will sound cheesy. To be honest, what I want is a rowdy, raucous, smoke flag filled supporter section that opposing players come and look at and they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Where did all these people come from, and why are they so what are they so wound up about? Just like that look of like puzzlement and just providing that fortress for our players.
Yeah.
You mean outside of the cat head that shows up at our games?
Right, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that all of our fans are important in their own way, but I think a unified crowd of supporters that is chanting and cheering and yelling together, creating an atmosphere is really important, and I think that would be really, really cool. Also, how embarrassing would it be if you were a Duluth fan or a Sioux Falls fan or something, and you come to our game and you're like, oh, this is what their supporters are. We have a guy with a drum.
Right. Yeah, if we could, so I'll top that. I'll put it that way. If we can put, all our rivals to shame with our game day experience, that's top of the list. Just make them so jealous they turn around and leave.
We did it on the field last year,
Yeah.
so might as well
do it in the
might
stands
as well
this
move it
year.
into
Well, we
the
got to do
stands
it.
this year.
We got to do it in the stands too. Then, right? We got to
Yep.
match the energy on the field.
Fucking A. All right, Nate. So give us your elevator pitch to new or casual City fans, and maybe Twin City soccer fans in general, for getting involved with the Citizens this summer.
I think if you're looking for a great time, if you're looking for a bunch of goofy people, it is going to be far and away the best use of your $80 for 2 months of fun in the sun. And if you enjoy profanity, it will be for you.
This is the group for you.
So, seeing that this is your first time on, and we typically do the world famous speed round, we're actually going to let you off the hook and park that. And we'd like to have you come back after your first full year in charge at the end of the season, and then talk about everything, and then you will get your very own speed round. Nate, how does that sound?
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Nate. I'm really excited to see what the Citizens bring to the games this summer. And make sure, let's right now just tell the people out there how to keep tabs on the Citizens and what they should do if they want to get involved.
So you want to either email us, mplscitizensSG@gmail.com, or look out for us on Twitter with the Citizens. We're also on Facebook, the Citizens, and we'll have updates, planning a couple get-togethers here before the season, but follow us and reach out if you're interested in getting involved.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. And that is all for this episode, folks. Thank you to Nate Zell from the Citizens Supporters Group. And thanks, as always, to our sponsor, Summit Brewing. Summit's Rathskeller Reserve Boxes in stores now, featuring revived beers originally brewed and released in the tap room. For a very limited few, now they're available for you at home. If you like your drinking experience to open your eyes to the mysteries of the universe, pick up a box today. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986. If giving back to the community means a lot to you, maybe it's time to give to the club that gives back. Minneapolis City is, of course, a 501c3 that provides a safe, reliable, and fun environment for young people to play the beautiful game. We will be out this summer, and I guess probably all throughout the year, playing with kids in parks and community centers all around the city. So consider a tax-deductible donation to the true city-focused organization that is Minneapolis City. Hey, the member meeting, we moved it because of the bad weather. It is now February 13th. The location is at The Local in downtown Minneapolis in the Hollow Room, which is their private room off to the left of the bar. Things get going at 6 p.m. and the presentation from Chairman Dan Hodeman will start at 6:30. It's always a good time. It's always fun to listen to Dan speak for at least 2 hours.
Drink some Summit.
Drink some Summit. We will definitely see you there. It's really a good time. There's always extra merch. There's limited stuff. I think last time they had some game-worn jerseys, game-worn kits for sale. So it's very cool. And you get to meet everyone. Nate, will you be there?
I will be there.
Yes, I'm so excited to meet you in person. Minneapolis City has released their schedule, and it is looking packed. John and I will talk about that next week, but for now is the right time to grab that membership. It is the best deal in soccer. For only $80, you get at least 10 home games. I think John may have leaked an 11th earlier in the show, not to mention the yet-to-be-announced U23 games, a membership scarf, and a membership card that lets you grab deals on Summit at our official game day bar, Palmer's. Visit mplscitysc.com and make it happen for yourself. Send us mail. It is easy, just like Ryan did. Hit us up on Twitter at The People's Pitch or through email at mcscpodcast@gmail.com. All questions, comments, and concerns are welcome. And finally, as always, you can hit the club up at mplscitysc. And that is all for this week. Once again, we're going to leave you with our house MC, Miles Stockman Willis, a.k.a. Malaise. Thank you again to Nate Zell. We really appreciate it. I am Nate. That is John. Get out to some games this year and say hi to those Citizens.
And you got hoofed.
the real you. Yeah, boo, I found you. So don't ever frown when loneliness is around you. I'ma show you that someone should crown you, not clown you, but pursue virtue would never hurt you. Now critical in distance, touch is digital, biblical. Till death, love is unconditional. Telling us we're a team and not two individuals. For you, I give my spleen, the spiritual and the physical. Loving what is fragile isn't always fixable, but I see what's invisible. See it with vexed visuals. Grab my hand, hold it. We gon' think the unthinkable. I promise we will float, that our boat's unsinkable. I promise I'ma drown in you, let you drown in me. Reveal the recipe, you I love to overfeed. I love it. Let's proceed slowly, not go bad like moldy. Ravioli, rigatoni. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Free, girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Temptation's about to give in, but I'm staying true. If I sin, may I be forgiven for a few. What we got to lose? Nothing. You just gotta listen. Such a good girl. Great. Just made a bad decision. One and done. She looking fine. Nothing missing. But got my hands tied like I'm the villain. Evil only swallows pride, but I'm sometimes kidding. Finger licker kitty. After feed the kittens. Cute shit. Kiss me softer than a baby's grip. New sense of high when she bites her lower lip. If she quit, make my heart skip, then snip. When we're together like ice cream mixed with some mint. Pepper, shawty had to rescue my respiratory. Just wants a man who's a man, that is mandatory. Only without her off the pad, like I never met with Dory. Help her write her story, take the qualms out her quarry. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Selfie timeless as the rollie. Always be my plus one. Shawty is my bogey. In it for the long haul, not for the trophy. Every day, feeling greater than Tony. Falling for her, and I think she falling for me too. I hope falling like two V's, make a W. Type of dude to build you up and make the rubble move. Type of dude to have my phone out all in front of you. Only cause you got my back. Presence always sets the mood. Never starts any trouble without any proof. No problems if there was, make the puzzle poof. Laugh it off. Goofballs, you should see the spoof. Girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me, please. Just tell me when you fall. Free, girl, I'm free falling for you. Still, temptation follows free. Just tell me when you fall for me,